I walked out of my childhood home at 2 in the morning with nothing but a duffel bag, a bruised heart, and a crisp $2 bill crinkled in my pocket while my sister's brand new BMW sat in driveway reflecting the streetlights under a massive red bow. My parents stood in the foyer watching me leave, not with tears or apologies, but with a look of pure indifference that told me everything I needed to know about my value in that family. I haven't spoken to a single soul from my biological family since that night, and the silence has been the loudest, most liberating thing I've ever experienced. Was I wrong for cutting them off over a birthday gift, or was that $2 bill just the final, insulting confirmation that I was never truly their daughter? I want you to listen to how this unfolded and tell me if you would have stayed, or if you would have vanished into the night just like I did. To understand why a car and a couple of singles broke a 24-year bond, you have to understand the hierarchy of the Miller household. My sister, Chloe, is 2 years younger than me, and from the moment she was born, she was the protagonist of our family's story, while I was merely a supporting character meant to provide background, noise, and free labor. My parents, David and Elena, aren't poor. In fact, they're quite well off, running a successful regional architectural firm. Growing up, there was always money for Chloe's ballet lessons, Chloe's private tutors, and Chloe's designer wardrobe. Meanwhile, I was the responsible one. I was the one who got a job at 16 to pay for my own gas, the one who worked through college to avoid student loans, and the one who never asked for a dime because I knew it would come with strings or a lecture about the value of a dollar. I remember one specific Christmas when I was 19. I had worked 60 hours a week over my winter break to buy my parents nice cashmere sweaters and Chloe a high-end makeup kit she'd been eyeing. When it came time to open my gifts, I found a pack of generic socks and a $5 gift card to a coffee shop they knew I didn't even like. My mother had laughed it off, saying they'd spent so much on Chloe's new laptop that they had to scale back on me, but that I shouldn't mind because I was so independent and successful on my own. That phrase became their favorite shield. They used my hard work as an excuse to neglect me, effectively punishing me for being the child who didn't cause problems. Fast forward to this past year. My 24th birthday was coming up, and for the first time in my life, I actually felt like things were looking up. I had just finished a grueling master's program while working full-time, and I was exhausted. Chloe, on the other hand, had just graduated from her undergrad, a degree my parents fully funded, and she hadn't worked a single day in her life. She spent her days influencing and her nights partying on my parents' credit cards. About a month before our birthdays, which are only 3 weeks apart, my parents started dropping hints about a legacy gift. They talked about how they wanted to celebrate our transitions into adulthood, and how they had something special planned for both of us to ensure our futures were bright. For the first time, I let my guard down. I thought that maybe, just maybe, they had finally seen how hard I'd been grinding. Maybe they realized I was struggling to save for a down payment on a small condo while Chloe lived rent-free in their guest suite. The week of Chloe's birthday arrived first. They threw her a party that must have cost $10,000. The backyard was transformed into a floral wonderland, catered by the best chefs in the city. At the height of the night, my dad gave a speech about how Chloe was the light of their lives, and led her out to the driveway. There it was, a brand new, shimmering white BMW with a massive red bow. Chloe screamed, hugged them, and immediately started snapping photos for her Instagram, barely acknowledging me standing in the back. My mother leaned over to me and whispered, "Don't worry, your day is coming soon. We have something very symbolic for you." I spent the next 3 weeks actually feeling excited. I wasn't expecting a car. I'm a realist, but I thought perhaps they were going to help with my closing costs or maybe give me a family heirloom that signified I was a valued member of the lineage. Then came my birthday. There was no party, no catering, just a quiet dinner at home where my mom made a dish I'm mildly allergic to, claiming she forgot. After dinner, my dad pulled out a small, flat envelope. He had a look of profound seriousness on his face. He told me that they had thought long and hard about what I needed most in life. He said that while Chloe needed support, because she was a free spirit, I needed a reminder of where I came from and the value of self-reliance. I opened the envelope. Inside was a single, crisp $2 bill. I stared at it, waiting for the joke. I waited for them to pull out a check or a key or even just a heartfelt letter. But they just sat there smiling. My dad said, $2 is rare, just like you. It represents the fact that you can make something out of nothing. We didn't want to spoil your drive by giving you a handout. We want you to look at this and remember that you earned everything yourself. It was the most calculated, insulting display of favoritism I had ever witnessed. They didn't give me $2 because they were broke. They gave it to me to remind me that they chose not to help me. They spent $60,000 on Chloe and $2 on me to prove a point. I looked at the bill, then at the BMW parked outside, then at their smug, self-righteous faces. I didn't scream, I didn't cry. I just stood up, went to my room, and started packing. So that's the situation I was in, and I had to make a choice. I was standing in a house where I was treated like a stranger, while my sister was treated like royalty. Before I tell you what happened next and how I handled that $2 bill, I want you to pause and comment below what you would have done in my shoes. Would you have tried to talk to them, or would you have walked out right then and there? I went upstairs and packed my entire life into 4 bags. It took me a few hours because I wanted to make sure I didn't leave a single scrap of my existence in that house. I took the photos out of the frames, I took the books from the shelves, and I even took the spare light bulbs I'd bought for my desk lamp. Around 2:00 a.m., the house was silent. I hauled my bags down the stairs, making sure to be as quiet as possible. I reached the front door and saw the envelope with the $2 bill sitting on the entry table where I'd left it. I picked it up, took a black Sharpie from the drawer, and wrote a note on the back of the bill. I wrote, "Since you're so worried about my drive, you can use this to help pay for the insurance on Chloe's car. Consider this my final contribution to this family. Do not contact me when you realize you've lost the only daughter who actually cared about you." I taped the bill to the middle of the front door at eye level. I walked out, threw my bags into my beat-up sedan, and drove away. As I reached the end of the street, I pulled over and went through my phone. I blocked my mom, I blocked my dad, I blocked Chloe. I blocked my aunts, uncles, and cousins who I knew would be used as flying monkeys to guilt-trip me later. I changed my social media handles and set everything to private. By the time the sun came up, I was in a different city, staying with a friend who had been telling me for years that my family was toxic. The aftermath was predictable yet pathetic. About 3 days later, I checked my blocked messages a folder out of curiosity. There were dozens of texts from my mother. They started with confusion, moved to anger, and ended with her calling me ungrateful and dramatic. She claimed I was ruining the family dynamic over a symbolic gesture. My dad sent a long email the only way he could reach me, saying that I was being emotionally manipulative by cutting them off and that I was immature for not appreciating the lesson they were trying to teach. Chloe even tried to reach out through a burner account, telling me I was making Mom cry, and that I should just apologize so they could go on their planned vacation in peace. I didn't reply to any of it. I realized that if I had stayed, I would have spent the rest of my life settling for crumbs while they feasted at a table I helped build. It's been 6 months now. I've settled into my own place, and for the first time in 24 years, the weight on my chest is gone. I found out through a mutual friend that Chloe crashed the BMW 2 weeks after she got it, and my parents are struggling to pay for the repairs because they overextended themselves on the party and the down payment. They tried to reach out again, asking if I could help out, since I'm so financially stable. I simply deleted the email. They taught me the value of $2, and now they're learning the value of zero contact. This experience taught me that blood doesn't make you family. Respect, love, and equity do. If people treat you like an option, you have every right to remove yourself from the equation entirely. You are not difficult for demanding the same energy you give out. I hope my story encourages anyone else sitting at a table where love is being served in portions to stand up and leave. Like this video if you were on my side and think I did the right thing by walking out. Subscribe for more stories like this where we dive deep into the real, raw experiences that people go through. Share your final thoughts on this whole mess in the comments section. Was I being too sensitive about the money, or was the $2 bill the ultimate insult? I'll see you all in the next story.